Staying on advice, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh, best piece of advice would have been, I've had several times I've been out on the street and I've failed. That's a whole other story, so a couple of times. And the best advice was given to me by the chairman of the startup that I was in at the time, and it was called Trayport. And Alan, the chairman, actually said, Bindi, you're nobody till you failed 3 times. Very American advice.
Yeah.
But in Great Britain at the time, and I grew up, Indian, Asian, as you say here, and you don't see that. Like, we don't accept failure as a culture. But actually, the 2 times I was on the street and I was living on Sainsbury's points, the second time around in 2004 to get food because I had 0 money. And my friends were being lovely and buying me drinks once in a while because I couldn't afford to go out. You're nobody till you fail 3 times. And the lessons I learned from those 2 troughs in my life were invaluable. And it's toughened me up and it's made me realize it's okay, right? And the best entrepreneurs I see just pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and they're back out there. And I go back to that story with that entrepreneur whose business went into bankruptcy. He didn't stop to think twice. He had 2 very young kids. He was stressed. He's like, meh, I'm just going to go do it again. I'm going to buy that IP back because I believe so strongly in the product, and he did it, and look at him to this day.
Wow.
So I do think that for me was the best advice. And I actually sat back, thought about it, and I'm like, all right. And then again, Alan, that chairman, also said, Bindi, you know nothing, which was great advice because it made me sit back and go, oh yeah, I was a consultant. I hadn't really rolled my sleeves up and worked operationally in a business. And that's what I ended up doing the last 10 years. Even though I launched the startup program, it was still, you had to operate a business and you had to run a business and grow a business and build a business. And I think learning stuff operationally, not just theoretically, is uber important. And I'm doing the same thing again at the bank.
Okay.
Right?
No,
I'm not just selling the services, I'm trying to build up a team and the operations and the processes and new banking packages internally. So it's really important to do that, I think.
Really interesting about London community, I find, is there's a lot of camaraderie.
Entrepreneurs for government, they're really hacking the system. It could be a little like that. And you're talking about like free flow of ideas.